First role that I ever played in was I was Meanie Jim in a production of Junie B. Jones is Not a Crook. I was 13 years old, and it had a major impact on my career because it was the first show I ever did. I actually didn't want to be an actor, but my mom made me audition for the show, and I ended up falling in love with acting. And at the end of the show, I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I'm really glad that you had me audition for this because it really changed my life, and that's what pushed me to want to make this my career." I make sure to thank God before every performance. I pray a lot whenever I'm in the rehearsal process and the performance process as well. And it's one of those things where acting can get very tiresome. It can get very frustrating, and at times it can be just not a fun place to be in certain aspects of the thing. And it's really nice to get to take all that struggle that I'm having with, the performance not going the way I wanted it to that night, or my lines not coming out the way I wanted it to, and just letting it go and giving it to God and saying, "Look, I know that I messed up, but even if nobody loved my performance, I know that you loved it, and it's just really important that I give all the glory to Him in every performance that I do." So, in the acting world, it's not uncommon to get a role that is that questions your faith, that questions how you play this role, and I think it's really important to consider your morals, consider your values when taking on a role. Don't audition for anything that you're not okay with doing, because you won't get in trouble if you tell yourself, "Hey, I'm not going to audition for this. It's just not the path I'm willing to go down." But you can get in trouble with certain casting directors and directors where if you audition for the role and then decide it's not for me and I don't want to do it, then sometimes that can cause some negative feedback. It's really important for me to remember that it's a character, it's not me. It's the way that I tackle any role, whether it be a positive role or a negative role. There are things about characters that are you, and there are things about characters that are completely and utterly not you. And so it's important to find the parts of the character that pertain to you and really speak on you as a person, and then remember that it's not necessarily a bad thing to portray roles that go against your morals, as long as you do it tastefully and it feels right, because it's not you at the end of the day, but there still is a sense of it needs to feel okay, and you need to be okay with being a character that isn't really you, if that makes sense. Auditioning for Broadway is one of the most terrifying things that I have ever done in my entire life. It takes a lot out of you. When it comes to normal auditions, or auditions for, when I was in high school or community theater, I kind of went in and just was prepared and felt very level-headed and said, "Okay, I'm going to either get the role or I'm not going to get the role," and that was the end of it. When it comes to Broadway shows, or honestly even college shows, there's such a higher expectation that they look for, and sometimes it can be really challenging to face those obstacles and realize that there's a lot of people that want that role and that are very qualified for that role, but it's just important to remember that you go in and you do the absolute best that you can. If they didn't want you, then they wouldn't have asked you to audition, and it's important to just remember to leave it all out on the stage, and whatever happens in that audition room, don't let it discourage you or dishearten you. It takes a lot out of you. When I left I auditioned for The Outsiders, and when I got done with the audition, I was very drained. I wanted to go take a nap, and I did go take a nap. And it takes a lot out of you, but it's also important to remember on those big auditions to come fully prepared, fully ready, give everything you have, and then do something right after that isn't theatrical, something that you enjoy doing just as a person. I chose Glaze to do this interview was because this place holds a very special place in my heart, really. It was the first theater that I ever worked in as a college student, and it's the first show it's the first place that I ever did a show here. I was an understudy for The Miser, which ran from October 30th to November 2nd, and this place holds a lot of memories for me in such a short period of time. This is where I got to know a lot of my friends the first week that I was here, and it's where I got to meet a lot of my cast members who I now really, really look up to and can go to for advice, both in the acting world and just as a person.